Good morning. My name is Lisa Hegarty. I'm the Executive Director with the P.W. Litchfield Heritage Center, and I'm here today with Dee.
Hi, I'm Dina Soy, and I'm with Sonoran Scavengers, and we are working together to show you on how to harvest our mesquite tree.
Okay, so Dee, can you tell us a little bit about the mesquite tree itself?
Yes, the mesquite tree, first of all, has been used for a food source for the Native Americans for hundreds and hundreds of years. It's really hardy. One of the things about the mesquite tree, it uses very little water. It only needs a couple of inches of rain throughout the year, which makes it a great tree. The beans will supply the Native Americans for food for almost a whole year.
Yeah, and I understand that there's a lot of nutrition in the pods themselves. So I have here that it's a gluten-free
Yes.
type of food, and it has a lot of protein, and it also has fiber, calcium, potassium, magnesium, iron, and zinc.
Very good for you.
Yeah, and that a lot of times, most of the time, people are turning these pods into flour, which you can use in your baking.
Yes, it's a gluten-free flour, first of all, which is really good for you. You can use it for almost any recipe. It's very sweet, so it adds a very good flavor to your recipes. It's really good in pancakes, cupcakes, different cakes, anything you use gluten-free flour for. Use it about 50% of the recipe and use the other flour, like a regular flour or another gluten-free flour with it. But it's very good for baking.
So how do we know when we can harvest the mesquite pods?
Okay, well, the mesquite pods are normally it has to be harvested before monsoon season, which is usually typically at the end of June or the beginning of July. And the mesquite tree pods come in different stages. First of all, you're going to see that the mesquite pod will come out with these little beads here. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, and then they'll turn into these big, fluffy, look like almost caterpillars. So it looks like. And then once all the fuzz comes off of these caterpillars, they'll all dry out kind of like this. Then, once they're totally stripped, as you can see here, you'll start getting mesquite pods coming off. And then you can sometimes just get one, and there'll be other ones where you'll have many come off of here, many shoots come off. So, and this is your start. So once the mesquite bean gets like this, you have to wait. This one's not totally dried out, but you can see the different stages. If you fan up here, they'll start getting to look at that really kind of the dry one over there, the yellow one. It looks like it's dry. It's almost ready, not quite. This tree, unfortunately, for what we're trying to do, is not quite ripe yet. It's still got another week or so to go. But I'm going to show you some pods. So you had the dry pods in your hands, and so I did bring a couple of what you can see. So I'm not sure if you can hear them, but you'll hear them rattle in there. If you notice the color, it's a kind of a tan yellowish color. And then the thing that you have to know is that they snap. I don't know if you can hear that, but they snap very easily. These here, unfortunately, the green ones are very bendable. They don't snap. There's a couple of yellow ones here that you think are quite ready, but they're still very bendable. Whoop, that one did snap, but it still wasn't, there was no rattle in there, so we know it's still not quite dry, even though it kind of snapped. But you want to make sure, even if they snap, you want to make sure that they rattle inside. Two is that you want to make sure that your tree tastes good. 1 year it can be good, the next year not so good. You want to make sure that it has a nice sweet taste in it. If it gives a yucky taste or kind of a chalky taste, you know the tree isn't good. And there's just need to harvest off of a different tree. So one of the things you can do is you can just go ahead and bite off the end. Chew it till you can get to the seed and just chew it some more. Oh, this one. That one's very good. Very sweet. So, and then once you're done, I'm not going to show this on camera, but you would just spit it out. So, these beans, wherever they came from, are very good. So, I'm going to go ahead and then later show you on how to actually harvest the pods.
So Dee, what are some of the things we need to do before we start picking? What do we need to think about?
Okay, well, first thing is you want to be safe for yourself. So you want to be protected. And what I mean by that is I have a couple things here in my bucket. So first thing is you can wear a hat like this or anything to protect you, or you could go ahead and wear a hat like this that would go ahead and protect your neck and your shoulders if you're going to make sure, if you're going to be in the sun, so you want to make sure that you're all covered. So of course the next thing is you want to make sure that you're protected with sunscreen. So make sure you have some sunscreen. And third is you want to make sure you have gloves because these trees can be very prickly. And normally, and I should have had one, normally you'd wear something long sleeve because that would protect you. You still could get scratched, but it's better than nothing at all. So those are some of the first things that you want to take care of is make sure, the other important thing is make sure you have plenty of water, preferably something that has electrical lights in it like Gatorade or something like that. I have my sunscreen on, I have my hat on. Unfortunately, I don't have the long sleeve shirt on, but we're pretty much ready to go. Now, you could be harvesting a tree, out of your yard, but if you're going to go out in the desert, make sure you're protected. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to put a tarp down. We do not want the pods to touch the ground whatsoever. Even though you think the ground is dry, it might not be. And what will happen is that a mold, I cannot pronounce the name, but there's a particular mold that will start forming in the pod that's can be harmful to us. It's good for the tree because what it does, it starts, it starts the pods to start, what is the word there?
Germination.
Yeah, germination. So once it hits the ground, it's ready to go ahead and germinate and create a new tree. Like I said, it's good for the mesquite, but not good for us. So we want to go ahead and lay a tarp down. I find this the easiest because we don't want it to touch. And again, we do not want anything to get wet. We don't want any other harmful things to get into our pods. So we just kind of would have to be moving it around. This tree is not really ready to go ahead, but there's a couple ones that I can show on how to go ahead and harvest. One of the things you can do if there's a lot, one of the things will happen is if they're really dry, these things will just, if you touch them, they'll basically fall off. So a lot of people will just shake the tree like this. Unfortunately, these are not dry enough. And pods will just start falling and you can pick them up off of your tarp. So you can do that. The other thing is that you can go ahead and just I was going to show you the 5-gallon bucket. You can go ahead and get yourself a 5-gallon. Make sure it's food grade. You can pick these up at Home Depot, Ace Hardware, any hardware store, grocery stores, bakeries, restaurants. So a lot of them will just go, they throw them away. You can just get them from them. And so what I like to do is if they don't shake off, we can just start pulling them off. And unfortunately, these are not dry enough to pick. There was a couple dry ones over here, I think. But basically, they should just kind of fall off. You shouldn't have to pull them off like I'm doing here, but this one's pretty good. Oh, you heard that one. It even sounded good. That one did too. But basically, you would just sit here and pick them off until... And if any do fall, you would just pick them up off of the tarp. Make sure not the ground. And there you go. That's how you would harvest them.
Well, Dee, thank you very much for telling us all about how to take care of the harvest process with mesquite pods. And this hopefully can give people information if they've been curious about doing this and want to learn more. And we will be hosting at the museum a mesquite milling event here in the fall. So hopefully this can get you started and you can harvest some of your own pods and be ready to give it a try.